We
Yeah.
have a good count. I think good to go. We
Beautiful.
are live. Oh, am I starting this week?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god. I
The
forgot
floor
that.
is yours.
Completely forgot that. Hello and welcome to That Beautiful Life podcast. This is episode 156 of That Beautiful Life podcast. And I'm your host, Curtis Campbell, talking to the beautiful Roger Bergstrom all the way in Stockholm, Sweden. Here in Reading today, it's a bit chilly. It's a bit colder this time. It kind of feels like winter again. It shouldn't be this cool at this point in time, but it is. So, Raj, how are you doing, good sir? I'm so sorry. I completely forgot I was starting. I literally put a spoonful of breakfast in my mouth because I was like, oh, okay, Roger's gonna start. I'll just chew while he's doing the intro.
Okay, yeah, I started to realize that when it was a bit too quiet for some time there, but yeah, here we are, folks, back and everything, and yeah, it's all good over here. I would say it's been. We lost our snow eventually. It
Oh,
melted away. We had some rain yesterday and also a bit of snow, but that was mostly the wet kind of snow that just goes away.
slush.
Today, yeah, exactly. So it's been, I would say, around maybe 2+ degrees Celsius, close to zero sometimes. Today, it's a bit, at least we have a blue sky. I haven't really seen a clear blue sky for days. So it's going to be like that for the whole day, which is good because later on this afternoon, me and Isaac will take the walk to the gym in the center part of this small place where we live. So that's going to happen. But yeah, no, it's good. The only thing, and I want to say that to you people that might be following us or listening now and then when it comes to this podcast, that I was completely off to a certain extent last week because we were about, as usual, to record another episode, but it didn't happen. And it was just because that for some reason, and I still don't know really why, I was busy as mentioned. Maybe that was the thing that just messed things up.
Yeah.
But I thought we had already recorded the new episode of the podcast, which we apparently had not done. Which was interesting to see. But so I apologize for that. That was actually on me. I was completely off. Yeah, things happen sometimes, and that was apparently one of those moments.
It's life.
But
It's life for you. That's
yeah, it's a part of life. But other than that, it also feels good. I mean, I talked about probably 2 weeks ago. Then talked about the flu that me and my family, especially me and Isaac, got. I am much better now, but I'm gonna be honest. I mean, I still have a small. I still cough a bit sometimes. It's super weird. It's like, will it ever go away? But I've done. I mentioned the gym. I've done 2 workouts, and the third one's gonna be today, and that means that the circle for my kind of week is complete. I've gone through my entire body and everything. So I'm taking it slow, very low intensity, and just trying to, get back to it, get back to those kind of routines as well, and that feels good. I have missed it a lot since I'm used to do that. But I also realized, since you were asking, I mean, when you start to now, I mean, we're after all these holiday season stuff and the New Year and the weekends that we're off work or whatever have you. And when you start to talk to people again, at least here, I don't know about you, bro, but I hear when I talk to friends and people that I know, there's a lot of people that has been ill, like caught the flu. Actually, it seems to be very contagious this year around. A lot of people has gotten it. So yeah, so I'm therefore passing over the ball to you over the net, so you can take over from here. How are you? How are you?
I'm chewing, but I'm good.
Yeah. Okay, you're still chewing.
No,
Well,
no, no. But I'm perfectly. I've sort of like moved all the food to one side of my mouth so I can speak.
You technically have some space for speech.
Technically, I have space for speech. Just to let you guys know what I'm having for breakfast. I think I'll start there. I'm having what is sort of like a trail mix, like a granola with oats and sort of like berry, like I think what do you call it? It's like flash frozen vegetables, fruits or something.
Okay.
And yogurt. Right. So I
Okay.
picked this up from a friend of mine. I have this friend. One time I went over to her house to help her with something, and I think it was like to help her fix a light socket or something like that. And I hadn't had breakfast at the time when I got over to hers. It was like super early in the morning.
Mm.
And so she was like, "Oh, have you had breakfast yet?" And I was like, "No, I haven't had breakfast yet." So she's like, "Do you want like can I make you something? Like, do you want some cereal?" So I was like, "Yeah, I can do for cereal." She's like, "Oh, well, I have it with yogurt. Do you mind having it with yogurt?" And I was like, "You know what? When in Rome, do as the Romans do. I'll try it."
Yeah.
So she made me that. And it was amazing. That was the first time I've ever had yogurt with like cereal, like granola. And I was like, man, this is actually really good. And so since then, I've actually made it myself.
Oh.
And very recently, no, when I said I made it myself, like I made it like once or something, I was like, oh, it's nice, and I never really did it again. But recently, I've literally started having my breakfast like that now. So I will have a bowl with granola in it, and about 2 or 3 spoons of yogurt, mix it up together, and that's breakfast. Granted, though, the granola I have today is not the one I usually get, and I hate this one. And the reason why I say that is because this one has those flash frozen fruits, which I thought was going to be delicious, which they taste fine. The problem is they're really sticky, like they're like toffee or something, and so they stick to your teeth. And I don't like that.
Okay.
I don't like that it's sticking to my teeth.
Yeah.
I wish it was like, something you could chew and swallow, not stick to your teeth. So
Yeah, makes sense.
that has irritated me.
Wow.
In response to what you spoke about, though, I actually thought you were still sick last week. Because at first when I checked the days now, because I was just like, okay, usually you message me the night before and say, hey, like these are my topics, I'll see you in the morning.
Exactly.
And I realized I didn't get the message, and I was like, I wonder if he's still sick, like, so in my mind I was like let me just wait and see. And then morning of, I think it was when I messaged you, I was like, hey, like, are you all right? And then you're like, oh, I forgot. I was like,
yes, that was on Thursday, like
yeah.
noon or around whatever. Yeah,
It's usually if we miss Wednesday, we'll do it on a Tuesday. So I was like, okay. I was like, I didn't hear from you on Wednesday. I was like, he's probably still sick. Let's see what happens on Thursday.
Well, not really. Yeah.
It is what it is. But I will admit as well, there are quite a few people who I know who also have the flu, and I myself, I cough every now and then. I actually got soaked in the rain on the weekend on Saturday when I was taking Ty to his classes on a Saturday, and I got caught in the rain a couple times, But that being said, I'm fine.
You're fine. Okay, because we talked about that before. I mean, if the immune system is a bit down, that can actually trigger it, because if you get cold and things like that. But good to hear that didn't happen. So
I've somehow managed to be strong and survive the cold. So currently, right now, one thing I want to talk about though has happened recently. Have you accepted your new YouTube content creator terms and services?
Yes, I did.
What do you think? What do you think? What do you think of the? Have you got the updated app as well, or do you just have or you just accepted it and this was like just using it from your PC?
I've just accepted on my PC, meaning web browser. So far, yeah.
I like the new app. I've used the app before, the YouTube Studio app, and it was alright. But the new one, like the updated version of it, it's nice.
Oh, okay, that's good to hear. Good. I have it on my phone. Or are you talking about YouTube Studio or?
That's what I'm talking about, YouTube Studio. So they've updated the app as well. So whereas usually, because I know the app it's not usually the best thing. Like it's good to check for like your comments and stuff if you want to respond to comments and things like that. Like that's what I used it for in the past.
Exactly. Yeah.
But it's giving you a lot more information, a lot more detail, and I am loving it. I haven't spent a whole lot of time in it yet, but just from tinkering in it, it's actually showing for if you have a channel that's not monetized, it's actually showing you how much you need to get it monetized in a nice presentable way, which is good. In the regular, if you already have a monetized channel, then it's showing you all your details and stuff, your content, your analytics, everything like that. It's not that different than how it was before, but it's still got more information on there, especially for your ads and stuff like that. So you've got a lot more information for your copyrights and all that kind of stuff. So
Okay.
I am I'm happy. I
That's
do
good
need
to hear. Good to hear that
Mhm.
they're doing a good update. I mean, if that makes
Yeah.
sense, like something that is actually you're able to see it and feel it, and yeah, good.
hmm
Okay, yeah, I'll check that out later.
Yeah,
Definitely.
I
Yeah.
myself have to do a bit more tinkering in it, and I will get probably off of some more feedback maybe next week as to what I think about it more.
Oh yeah.
Because as I say,
Mm.
like I only noticed it last night when I accepted my new policies. I was trying to read the damn thing. And I was like, my God, this is a lot of lawyer speech, like blah blah
It
blah
is.
blah
Oh
blah.
yes, it is.
Yeah.
It's oh yeah.
In my mind, I was just like, do I still want the money from them? And I was like, yeah, okay, cool, fine.
Yeah. At there was kind of the same thought I had, which made me scroll down a bit faster down to accept. So
Yeah. I started off
yeah,
at first thinking, you know what, let me just read. Let me read
yeah.
it, and then the more it started to just drag on, I was like, nope, can't be bothered. Just get to the bottom. Because
Mhm.
it's like three policies you have to accept. You have to accept two at
Exactly.
first, and then you have a third one for shorts.
Yes.
So yeah, it was quite the scrolling, but I am happy to still be counted as a monetized channel on YouTube.
Mm.
So that's good.
Yeah.
Granted,
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
channel has been in the dumps, so I need to stop putting stuff on there. But you know,
Yeah.
that being said, it is a a Wednesday, and this week has been fine. The past
Mm-hmm.
week for me has been pretty okay. A better week than most, I would say, for the most part.
Good. Good. Good.
We've had we haven't had anything out of the ordinary, I would say. Nothing too exceptional happened during the week. But it was just, when you have like just a generally decent week, like nothing really good happens, nothing really bad happens. It's just sort of like smooth sailing, for the most part. Everything just sort of like operates as it should.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So that's kind of the week we had. And I've been trying to get out and get some exercise. I didn't get any. I should say I won't be getting much this week because it's cold outside, and I am not going out. I tried going cycling yesterday, and my fingers got frozen. Because my gloves, Alex and I went somewhere, and my gloves fell in bird poo.
Oh
So
no.
so I threw
Oh
my
my.
gloves in the wash. I was like, I'm not using that. So yeah, so they fell in bird poo, and they need to wash, which sucks, But because of
Yeah.
that, I can't use my gloves to go cycling, and
No.
we got all the laundry done, like literally all, which was amazing. I was so happy to just like get all the laundry out of the house and everything like that. It's all dry and everything. That's awesome as well.
Mm.
And so now we're just sort of like we're just sort of just a chill, really nice week. Watch some
Yeah.
football on Sunday with Zavi.
Is everyone
And
well now?
yeah,
Talking about
everyone's fine.
yeah.
Everyone's fine.
Mm.
Everyone's back into their regular routines.
Good.
So yeah, it's really, 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 really fine. Like it's been a pretty decent week for the most part. So I can't complain. It's because a lot
Yeah.
of the times you have weeks that don't go according to plan, and you have things.
True.
So
True.
this week was good, and
That sounds good. Yeah.
I can't complain. I can't complain at all. So
Yeah, it's good when it's sometimes we've said that before when it's like a kind of a regular week. I mean,
mhm,
it's just, it goes on
mhm,
without a lot of hassle and stuff. And I
mhm.
think I have to add, of course, it also helps when you're not ill, when you
Yeah.
don't have a flu. It's like so I think that's a big game changer to a certain extent. And I can
Mhm.
fill in if
Go
you
for it.
don't
Go
have
for it.
anything. Yeah, sure. I've had it's been mostly normal, but a
Mhm.
few not so normal things. First
Mhm.
off, I wanted to mention I haven't really done a thing about it because usually as a when you decide to actually release music, like public wise, the first release is not really that important, if that makes sense. Because for me, since I hadn't done that before, I didn't even
Mm-hmm.
have an artist account on Spotify. But I actually released a single, the first song. I think it was on the 9th
Mm-hmm.
of January, already some
Ooh.
time ago, and the next one's gonna come on 21st and so forth. It's all this music I'm also uploading on the stock music libraries, and then if people like those, even though they're made for a purpose, it's not like some of the songs are not really that, how should I put it, like regular when it comes to the form and everything, because they
Mm-hmm.
have a purpose for licensing. But even so,
Mm-hmm.
if people like them, great.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm slowly building that up. I had to get into how does it work on Spotify when it comes to also, fixing all the banners and the bio and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't done that on Apple Music because the songs, when you're using like a digital distributor, as I've been doing, which is in this case called DistroKid, it gets released on like 10-15 platforms.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a lot of places. And I will continue to do that because, as mentioned before, my plan is also now to finally get my thumb out of my rare part and and also start uploading them on YouTube, because I have everything set now.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that was not the case like in November or even December, but now I
Mm-hmm.
have that, so that's my next step when it comes to that. So that's one part when it comes to music, and another part that comes to music was more of an unpleasant one.
Mm-hmm.
When me and my friends in the band Capital 59 met
Mm-hmm.
up on Thursday last week for a rehearsal. We haven't been able to rehearse during Christmas and everything, also due to the fact that, well, I got sick, and actually I got to know later that Gunnar, the bass player, got sick, and also Annika, the singer, got, as you see. So it's been a bit like that. But
Mm-hmm.
even so, I came there, and everyone was waiting upstairs. I was like, what's wrong? Well, then they told me we can't get in. We can't get in
Oh.
into the corridor,
Mm-hmm.
where we have our recording studio. And I was like, what? Yeah, they've changed the lock. And I was like, what, really? And Johan, the guitar player, is mainly the guy that are in contact, and when it comes to these kind of things, and the keys, and the contract overall,
Mm-hmm.
paying the rent,
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that. So, and we haven't heard anything. I mean, he had gotten a note, like a mail or something, because they have to do that. They have to inform, of
Mm-hmm.
course, that they are doing something like that. And we also got worried. We were like, okay, maybe this has to do with a kind of, they have broken up the door, most likely. We've seen those attempts before.
Mm-hmm.
This place is quite big. It's like a
Mm-hmm.
huge terminal
Mm-hmm.
with some older buildings and places, and a lot of possibilities to get in from different directions, which
Mm-hmm.
unfortunately also like draw unwanted people in there as well from time to time.
Mm-hmm.
They are looking into that more. I just talked yesterday, which I'm getting to with the guy that are responsible for these kind of things, and so we couldn't rehearse. We just had a band meeting instead over a beer, and
Was it
then
good
long
beer?
story short, yeah, long story short, I just went yesterday to pick up four new keys due to the new lock,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, they've confirmed there was an attempt to
Oh, someone
break
tried to
in.
break in. Oh, wow.
Yeah. They got through that door, and it kind of bothers me because the next step is actually well, there are 2-3 places in that corridor, and one of them are ours.
Do you
And we
guys have
have,
anything stored in there that can be stolen?
of course, I mean, if you think about it, it's instruments for,
Oh, so
you
you
know,
you guys don't carry the instruments back and forth. You leave them there and then you just
yeah,
go. Oh, okay.
that's the whole point. That's the beauty of it. It's our
Mm-hmm.
place. It's like everything is set up. My whole drum kit with microphones, everything.
Mm-hmm.
It's easily like maybe 200,000 Swedish kronas of instruments and gear in there.
Wow.
It's a lot of, yeah. So we start to think what to do. We should most likely invest in an upper lock as well on that door, that particular door.
Mm-hmm.
He informed me yesterday that they are going through the whole facility, but since it's big, it's going to take some time, like a new system, you know. And they have actually doubled the guards when it comes to like the routes they take during nighttime, for example.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, they're doing what they can. But you know, it never feel these kind of things never feel good. It doesn't matter if it's a rehearsal space or, of course, your home is even worse.
Mm-hmm.
But even so that was a bit unpleasant. Hopefully, we won't see this happen again. But I am, since it has been attempts, like I mean, we've been there for years now. We've seen it before, and now they did it and got through. Then it might happen again. So we have to think about what we can do. Also look through the insurance kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
We did that before, and I know that actually, if you have a good like home
Mm-hmm.
insurance overall, that covers quite some. It's not really necessary to have like an extra insurance.
Mm-hmm.
But on the other hand, things changes, so we're gonna look into that pretty soon.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess that's the gist of it when it comes to it. Mainly has to do with focus on music for me. Otherwise, it's been going on as normal. I got back into making a bit more videos when it comes to YouTube, as you said, agreeing to the new terms, back to streaming and things like that. I have my thoughts about that as well. I'm going to do some changes during this spring, but we'll see
Mm-hmm.
about that. Also going to start to upload music, the music mentioned also to even more libraries.
Mm-hmm.
I need to spread like as much as I can. This is though something that takes time. You know how it is. You know that this has to be done, and I have my how should you say, my notes, my order to do things.
Mm-hmm.
But even so, sometimes you're not really sure, since you haven't done it that much before,
Mm-hmm.
how much time you need. Like
Mm-hmm.
how's the timeline going to be? I
Yeah.
was hoping that I would be a bit further ahead already before the end of this year, but
Mm-hmm.
unfortunately, I haven't been able to. I mean, I've done what I can, but it's also a matter of hours during the day and the week. You know,
Mm-hmm.
you can.
Time flies, man.
Yeah,
Time
yeah,
flies.
it's a
That's the thing.
familiar thing, isn't it? Yeah.
It is
So
a thing,
there
you
you
know.
go. Mhm.
You can plan, but you know, at the end of the day,
Yeah, yeah.
it goes as it goes. You know, you just
True, and
kind
then
of.
yeah, and then something happens, like especially the thing that when we got ill,
Mm-hmm.
even though it was over or after Christmas and on to New Year's.
Mm-hmm.
I mean that really just took it. Yeah, yeah, that took time, of course, but also after that, when recovering, trying to get back to work, I was really slow the first days. I didn't have the energy to actually be the full me or the full version of me,
It
if
really
that makes sense.
it really knocked you out. It's kind of like when I was sick. It was the same thing. Like I just couldn't function.
No,
it was literally, and it felt bad because I wanted to do stuff, but I just couldn't. You know,
no,
and
it's true.
your entire body's just exhausted, and you know that kind of stuff. But hey,
Yeah,
you know,
it is what.
sometimes
Yeah,
it's probably just a way of telling you to slow down a bit. You know, take a break.
exactly. That's well said. I was exactly getting to that. We also have to allow ourselves to, okay, I am sick. Well,
Hmm.
then I gonna be sick
I
for
need to rest.
hopefully not too long. I need to rest. Yeah, I there's nothing really you can do. I mean, we talked about those things before when it comes to what you can
Hmm.
affect or what you can do something about or not. I mean, if you can't really do that much,
Hmm.
then at least do the little you can. And in this case, most of the time when it comes to being sick, it's about rest, you know.
Yes.
So
Yes.
and slow things down. I mean, that's mainly what the body needs, the whole
Hmm.
system. So,
True.
but it might be hard when it comes to like the mindset. That's another thing. On the other hand, for us, mostly for you, I guess as well, it was during a period when it's a bit slower. I mean, it was like holiday season and things
Hmm.
like that. But even so, yeah.
I think it
Uh,
wasn't even slow because it was holiday season. I think it was more hectic because of the fact that, you know, it's about that time when family are making plans and you know, everyone's
no,
trying to
that's
get
true.
stuff done
That's
and all
true.
that kind of stuff. It wasn't for me. I felt like it was a lot more hectic because of the fact that
Yeah.
you know, like there were just things that needed to be done, or you know, that we just had to address, and I was not available, and that was really taxing for me, I guess, to an
Mm,
extent.
true.
So yeah, that's the thing. But at the end of the day, we're both fine and we're both back, so
Yep, yep.
that's the good thing.
That's the good thing.
And keeping with good things, I've been watching a series that I am enjoying a lot, and
Ooh.
it's like one of those, you know, when you watch something and it's like it's not that good, but then you can't stop watching it. Like it's got like issues, I should say. But then you keep watching. It's like watching a train wreck or something. You know, like seeing the train crashing, and you can't look away. That's the series I've been watching, which is called The Last Man on Earth. It has one of the most irritating leads ever. And it's played by Will Forte. I don't know if it's Forte or Fort, because it's Forte is his last name.
Okay.
Who plays a character called Phil Miller. Phil Tandy Miller, I should say. There's got to put a Tandy in there. And then basically you have some other characters that play alongside him in the series. So essentially the series is about basically this virus takes over the earth, and it basically just kills everyone.
Wow.
Like literally everyone just start bleeding from every part of their body, and they die, right? And then there's this guy who he survived. He survived, and he is the last person on earth. And he's trying to find people, and he lives in the US, so he goes all across the entire US trying to find someone else alive with him, because he's apparently immune.
Oh.
So he goes all over the US and he can't find anyone, right? Literally no one. He can't find a single person. He starts talking to balls and all that, because he draws faces on them. And so he's got a basketball, he's got like a tennis ball, he's got a volleyball, and they all have names and stuff. The volleyball is his best friend, apparently.
It's wonderful. I'm actually watching a bit of the trailer without sound just to see when it comes, because I've heard about this series.
Mm-hmm.
And I see him talking to a female mannequin. Like,
yeah, he actually fancied the female mannequin. He was trying to hit on her. You know, he'd go over and talk to her, because his friends, the balls, when they drove over to the mannequin's sort of like store, and his friends were like, "Oh, you should go and talk to her," right? At least that's what he was hearing, because he's imagining they're talking. We never hear them talk, to be honest. It's just he reacts to it basically. So he's like, "You guys sure I should go over?" But guys, I mean, come on, man. And he's like, "All right, fine. I'll go over and talk to her." He goes over and he's talking to the mannequin. "Hey, you know what? Like, I come by here sometimes. Yeah, you're nice and pretty and stuff." So he's getting plans to make lovemaking to this mannequin, and basically it is an interesting sort of like show, seeing this guy sort of like descend into more and more insanity because of the fact that he's alone and how the human mind operates without having other people. But because of the fact that he's got to that point of insanity, he's kind of irritating. Right. It's I guess the series is all about him finding his humanity, because he spends quite a couple of years alone. Right. And the series is all about him reconnecting that humanity. So spoiler alert, he finds people. he finds someone else. Yeah. And he basically I'm gonna spoil the this is the first episode, so you guys will see this in the first. He stumbles upon this lady's sort of like camp, right? And he finds a bra, and he's excited. He's like, "Oh my god, it's a bra!" And he starts smelling it and stuff like that. And she pulls up on him with a gun. She's like, "What are you doing? Oh man, get away from my bra!" And so they have a moment of sort of like a standoff and stuff like that, and him trying to explain himself, and then eventually they end up starting to talk and stuff. And then she's also really weird, partially because of the whole, you know, being isolated, and also because she is a weird person by nature. And so you have this dynamic between the two of them, you know, her being weird, he's being weird, and the two of them trying to make things work, because, you know, they haven't had human contact in a while, and you know what people do when you haven't seen people in a while, you know, you kind of want to do some stuff, you know. So so they you have that dynamic as well, and it's so interesting. It's so it's funny, it's quirky. There's a lot of moments where I felt like dropping it, and I stuck it out, and I'm like, I am loving it. I'm on season 2. And it just keeps getting more and more interesting as you go along. Wow. Granted, the main character, he does some stuff that makes you think like, my god, if you would just like think or just act on certain things in a certain moment, things would work out for you. But he does a lot of stuff, like unnecessary stuff, and things don't work out for him because of it. So,
Yeah.
that's the only thing about it. So it shows on So I've got it on Disney Plus. That's why I've been watching it. I'm on season 2. I don't know. I can't remember how many seasons they have. I think it's let me see. I think they have more than 2 seasons. Let me hope, because I'm seeing 67 episodes. I think it's 4 seasons. So it's 4 seasons of the show. I'm on season 2. And I watch a bit of it every time I have like a meal or something like that. And yeah, I have been
cool.
I have been enjoying it so far. It is weird.
It seems as if more people are enjoying it too. I mean, it has a 7.3
on IMDb.
So that's a good rating,
7.3 is a good rating. I think for me, I'd probably go so far as to give it an 8. I think it's much better. I am enjoying it.
Yeah.
The only thing is, as I say, every now and then I get irritated by the stuff. I'm like, why didn't you just do the thing? Why did you have to just? You irritate me. But then I can't stop watching. So
cool. I mean, the whole concept is kind of interesting. Being like alone.
Yes.
Like last, not really knowing. Of course, I could kind of figure or imagine that he would eventually, even though, as you said, or spoil, whatever you want to call it. But it's not really spoil. I mean, you have to realize that, sooner or later, he will meet another survivor. It has to be.
It has to. What's the story going to be? A guy talking to a
4
ball?
seasons, like, hello.
Yeah, 4 seasons of a guy talking to a ball is going to get lame fast.
Yeah, it's gonna get lame farts. It's not that many mannequins to keep that series interesting. So I would say that, but yeah, cool. No, this is good. It's kind of interesting because it partly connects to what I have been watching. But yeah, should I go into that, or what do you say?
I think I do have a question, but I'll hold the question until after.
Okay.
So you go into yours, and then I'll ask you the question.
Sure. No, I mean, apparently, Last Man on Earth, as you mentioned, something bad has happened, and he's the only survivor. I have been watching a newly produced series that is also amazingly hyped, for good and bad. I would say mostly for good, and I'm happy to say that now when I have been watching the first episode myself. And it also has to do with apocalyptic kind of things happening, and people are changing, I would say. Here it's not The Last Man on Earth, and I'm of course talking about the new series The Last of Us on HBO Max. And those of you that are true gamers knows, of course, that this is made out of the video game called The Last of Us, following Joel and Ellie that are connecting and trying to survive in the world they live in, since it's the circumstances bring them together. But it's a post-pandemic America. We should remember that it's a very interesting, also now after COVID, and thinking about this pandemic in the game, which is caused by fungi, and when you think about that and the evolution and what actually, it's not impossible to happen, even though I hope we won't see that happen in humans, because then there is no cure. Because when it becomes like a parasite thing, which can actually happen to some animals, when the fungi are taking control, well, then you start to get a bit scared about it. So yeah, we have watched the first episode, and I was a bit like, I have it's been all over the papers as well, and a lot of people has been reviewing and talk. I tried to stick away from that, but it was impossible not to see anything about the series. Or
I didn't see anything about it. Didn't even know it was out until I saw your show. I was like, wait a minute. Really? Until you showed me the show. I was like, holy shit! Like, this is out already. Like, I knew they were gonna make one. I just didn't know it was out.
The first episode was premiered now on the 16th, but as you know, which wasn't it Monday, I think, but of course, as a reviewer, not me, but the reviewers get it beforehand, and they have been watching it a lot of writing. So that's what I meant. It's been hyped. It's been real. Oh, it's so good. And I was like, oh shit, I hope I don't get disappointed. But I can spoil and say I was not. This was really, really good. And I'm happy to say that I played The Last of Us. I really liked the game. And the good thing here, is that they have been quite true to the
Mm-hmm.
game. They are following the timeline, sort of. I mean, you have to make choices. It's like when you do Lord of the Rings. You can't take everything in there from the books. You have to make certain choices. What's important to show to make the story viable and good and enjoyable to watch. It's in the format of a movie. And I guess it's the same thing here, but again, they are really following the game well, and it works. It really works because the whole synopsis, the story behind the game, and also the series now is strong, and so are the characters. And I'm happy to see really good acting, also good casting when it comes to, for example, Pedro Pascal is playing Joel.
I was
which
about
is-
to ask you that. What do you think of the casting of Joel now?
Yeah,
Like,
it's
do you
good.
think
It's
they?
really good. Yeah,
Okay.
it's good. Yeah, I think it's really good. I buy it all the way because I mean, Pedro is well known for many things. For example, also being Mandalorian. And the cool thing is that they choose an actress that I thought was good already back in Game of Thrones, even though she had a small part, but very important. She was also even younger then. She
She
was
played
one
a
of the
princess or
rulers.
something,
Yeah,
isn't
she
it?
was one of the rulers up in the north. A strong
Yeah.
voice to join the cause and Stark and everything. Her name is Bella Ramsey, and she of course then play Ellie apparently. And she's really good. She's also very good here. There's another names. There's other actress of course. We have Tess is a huge like the third main character I would say. And Anna Torv. Oh, it sounds very Anna Torv. That sounds
Sort of
very
Norwegian or Nordic.
Nordic.
Yeah.
No, Australian. Torv.
Australian.
What? I would not guess
Is
that. But
Torv Australian?
yeah, apparently it did not sound Australian. Okay, it doesn't matter. So my everything I can say about it without, of course, spoiling anything is that it's very good, and I'm looking forward to episode 2. It has already 9.4 on IMDb, so it's a strong grade. It's really like and yeah, I just wished. I mean, this shows again that it is possible, and as many have been writing in the reviews, it is possible to make good series out of video games, but this is actually one of the few. I mean, I've talked about the Halo series, which I mean, it could have been easy. For example, as Isaac said, they could have just made a series out of the first book, which is eventually like Reach, you know, how it builds up, like from the first game, you could say. And partly but they didn't. Yeah, we want to do something from our creative minds. Of course I can kind of get that, but it just becomes not really understandable, especially from the perspective of being
A fan?
an old Halo fan, and the fact that he took off his helmet like in the first episode was like, no, don't do that. It's like the old. I grew up with a hero called the Phantom. He lives in the jungle. Apparently, he has.
I know the
this
Phantom. He's got
yeah, but maybe some of the younger listeners.
his
don't.
costume is kind of like a sort of purplish black kind of costume kind of thing, isn't
Yeah,
it? Yeah.
it's originally I think purple.
Yeah,
Here in
that's-
Sweden, he was blue.
He was blue.
Yeah. So it looks like he's running around in his underwear, like men in tights, things like that. Yeah, but even so, now I lost the thread here. What were
No,
we
no, you
talking about?
said so you said talking about the Phantom. I'm assuming you're talking about how sticking to the source material or whatever have you, because you were talking about how in Halo, Master Chief takes off the helmet in the first.
Yeah,
episode.
exactly. It would be like the same thing because there's an old saying in the Phantom series that anyone that sees the face of the Phantom dies a horrible death. So all the bad guys were at least the superstitious ones were afraid of that to take off his mask. So it's a bit like that with Master Chief as well. I mean, he works the best when he's just the voice behind this armor. To be honest, I think that's the whole thing. So it means that more or less anyone can be him from an actor perspective, and it kind of I don't know. It's just. So my coming then back to The Last of Us and seeing that they are true to the original, if that makes sense, but still manage to to get it into the format of TV, like
Yeah.
a series now, is really refreshing, and I'm happy to see that. I'm really happy, and I'm again looking forward to the next episode.
Mhm.
So there you go,
Well,
The Last of Us.
lucky you. We don't have HBO Max here in the UK,
No.
so I have no way of watching this unless, of course, if I use unscrupulous means, but yeah, there's no official way that I think if I had to watch this here in the UK, I would actually have to have a subscription with Sky or one of those because I believe one of them have a what do you call this thing? Like they have, I think it's BT. I think if you have a BT subscription, you get access to HBO.
Okay.
But I don't want a BT subscription. A BT subscription is expensive. So
Yeah, most likely. Sounds like it. Yeah,
it's one of those subscriptions that's I believe it's like about 30 something quid or something. Like it is not cheap. It is like, because when I pay for Netflix and all that kind of stuff, those things cost like 7 quid or 9 quid or 10 quid or somewhere around there, right?
Yeah.
For BT, you're looking at easily upwards to like 20 something and more a month, and that's per package.
It doesn't work, especially in times like this. I mean, when we have to hold back, most of us at least, when it comes to the prices, when it comes to food and especially electricity, everything. We talked about that.
Yeah.
But I think I mean, for us right now, I think I mentioned it before. We have Netflix, we have Amazon Prime, and we have HBO Max. And I think though that, because we've talked about it, when The Boys and most likely also Doom Patrol is over, then we might switch. Wait, am I talking bull now?
The Boys would, if it's The Boys, then you plan to cancel Prime, is it?
Yes, exactly.
Oh,
because I would like to have Disney Plus for some time later on. But I'm not sure. We haven't talked this through. But
I will say Disney Plus is good. Because we have Disney Plus. So we have Disney Plus, we have Prime, we have Netflix, we have Nebula and Curiosity, and which I think Nebula and Curiosity I think is one that everyone should have because it's cheap. It's like I think you pay for Nebula and Curiosity, I think you pay something like around, say, it's less than 20 quid for the year. So you're paying like £1 a month or something, £1 something a month.
But what about regions? How is that?
It doesn't have a region issue. So essentially, what Nebula and Curiosity is essentially it has like all these documentaries and stuff like that. It's really good documentary. So if you like a good documentary and stuff like that, it is really good because and the good thing about with Nebula is like if you watch a lot of documentary style YouTubers, you get their content without the ads. And I do watch a lot of those YouTubers. So for me, it's like I can watch their videos and I don't have to have the ads when I watch it. And you can play it without having the screen on your phone. So you can turn your phone off and have it play in the background. Maybe you go for a walk or something. And it's kind of like listening to a podcast. Or you can just like watch it without the ads and stuff like that. And then with Curiosity, you get like full form, high quality documentaries about every and anything that you can think of. And so I got it and I love it. I love Curiosity so much. We watch a ton of that. And because the price is so cheap, because they, especially during the holidays, they have some sales. Every holiday time they have a sale and it's super cheap during the holidays for the year. But even when you're outside of that, the price is still really cheap, So yeah, Nebula and Curiosity, hands down, the best subscription service I would say at this point in time because of how much they offer. I don't know how long they're going to be able to keep up that price model that they charge because it's really cheap. But I think maybe they must have like a target in mind. Like once we get to this amount of subscribers, we'll raise the price or whatever have you. But for now, it is super cheap and it is amazing. And the good thing is you pay for the year, so you don't even have to think about it for the rest of the year. You pay like
that's also actually nice. Yeah.
I think you just pay down. You just let me actually, because
it says like this. Sorry, I just went on to Nebula. I got curious. It says nice. It says $5 a month, meaning a Nebula subscription is just $5 per month or $50 per year.
No. You don't buy from Nebula. You go to Curiosity. So go to curiosity.com, CuriosityStream.com. I'm gonna send you the link. And on Curiosity, it's 20 quid for the year, right? 20 US for the year, I should say. And once you pay for Curiosity, you get Nebula for free.
It's now I get it. Now I understand.
You don't buy Nebula, you buy Curiosity and get Nebula for free. Tagged in, and that's how I got it. So I got Curiosity Stream, and they threw in Nebula for free, and I've had it since. So as long as you have a Curiosity subscription, you have a Nebula subscription, and that's how it works. So month by month, if you're just going with the annual cost, it's £1 US 67 a month, which works out to $20 US for the year. But if you want the 4K package, so they have a standard HD, which is the one I have, and then they have a 4K package, which is $70 US a year, which is $5.84 per month, which again is still good, because if you're paying $70 for the year, that's way cheaper than everything else that's out there. All right. So, but granted, I just pay for also, if you pay for the premium bundle, it also includes a couple other things. I'm seeing it has Tastemade Topics, Da Vinci Kids, One Day University, and they're showing Nebulas here as well, in this package. Wait a minute, which package do I have then? Because I know I have Nebula with mine. I think they probably would just offer it as a special bonus, package. No, Nebulas. I'm confused. Anyway, I paid for it around the holidays. I think about a couple of years ago, and I've had it since, and it is amazing. And it's it's the one subscription service I make sure that is renewed and working, because it is my favorite, and I love Nebula's at Curiosity Stream because they're amazing. So, get Curiosity Stream if you can. It's 20 quid for the standard one. And you get a lot of documentaries to watch, so you don't have to worry about what am I gonna watch tonight? Nope, you got documentaries to watch. It's great. So yeah, we've got quite a lot of back to the point. We've got quite a lot of subscription services, and I would say the one I use the least is Prime Video. I don't watch a lot of stuff on Prime Video, so I can understand why you would cancel it. The only reason I wouldn't cancel it though is because we watch a lot of stuff. We order a lot of stuff from Amazon. So because we order a lot from Amazon, we do need Prime for
I
that.
can understand. Yeah.
And then also I get the free games from Prime every month. So every month Amazon gives away I shouldn't say free because you're paying for it. It's part of your package. But
but it's in there.
Yeah, it's in there. So I grab my Prime game at the beginning of the month. I log in and
I can understand that. I mean, we don't order as you do from Amazon, so I mean we're not really
you're using
that,
it,
but even so, but we do actually watch. I find the cool thing with Amazon when you get into it, like Prime, is that it has so much when it comes to also like older, or I would say almost like B movies and stuff. That can be fun. It has a lot of movies in there, and as said, there are still series that I might can enjoy to watch. But you get to a point also where you might want to change or switch things up a bit just to see if it's something else you want to have or watch. But I will of course look into what you just talked about, since I wasn't really aware of it, like the Curiosity Stream kind of thing.
Yeah, it is.
So
I'll
take a look at it.
It's quite the bargain, if I do say so myself.
Yeah.
We haven't spoken about any gaming.
No, we got to get in there.
We do have to get in there. I will say, for me, I'll start. I have mainly been playing Pokemon and Marvel's Midnight Suns. Those are the two games I've mainly been playing. And on the screen, we've got Marvel's Midnight Sun right now running on the screen. But I finished Pokemon. I should say I finished the main story of Pokemon Violet. Okay, yeah, I've seen the credits roll. There's obviously post game stuff, so I'm gonna go back in and do some of the post game. But now I'm mainly focusing on Marvel's Midnight Sun right now. I'm gonna try to finish that one off. This is the first game I've finished for the year. I started last year, so that tells you a lot about how I play my games, how long it takes you to finish something sometimes. But yeah, I enjoyed Pokemon. Like I really enjoyed this Pokemon Violet. I think they did a good job, and And I think with Marvel's Midnight Suns, I am enjoying it a lot. I know there's a lot of games coming out right now. One of the games I was supposed to get, I haven't gotten it yet, but I hope I'll get it soon, which is the Cholesterol Protocol or something like that, I think. I believe that's a game that you've played. I got an email from a hardware manufacturer who basically offered a code for that and F1 2022 to test out some hardware, and I requested I said I'd be keen to try that out, and they sent over some codes, but they weren't, the codes weren't like proper. So I emailed them back and said, hey, like, what's the, like, is it possible to sort of like get the, like, a proper code or whatever? And they said, they'll try to see if they can sort it out. So I'm hoping I'll be able to get one today. Or I said I emailed them yesterday and said hopefully they can sort it out by Friday. Because then I can squeeze it in on maybe my Thursday stream or something. But yeah, currently right now I'm just mainly playing Marvel's Midnight Sun and a little Pokemon on the side. Just go back in and just look at stuff. But yeah, Midnight Sun is great. It's still great. Still exactly what I thought about it. If you guys want to hear more about what I think about Midnight Suns, you can go back and listen to last week's episode, because that's where I talk more about it. So, yeah. What about you, Raj? What have you been playing?
Yeah, as usual, it's a mix, mainly within the genre of FPS. But as I mentioned before, I I have been a bit not frustrated, but I have been waiting for some new games to come. I think overall, yeah, and there's going to be things coming up this year, definitely, that also might be really interesting and good. But when it comes to like the for example, the multiplayer scene, I mean, I'm still enjoying to play a bit of Warzone DMC together with the you guys, now and then. I streamed it yesterday, for example. But I have so much to say that it would take a long time when it comes to the state of I've mentioned that before, when it comes to newer Call of Duty games, and also this version of Warzone, for example. I am not a huge. There's a lot of things I don't like, to be honest. It's kind of fun to stream in a way. Things are happening, certain situations, and also, when you play with some friends, can be fun. Other than on the side, I don't touch it. I really don't. I don't play. I don't play it by myself. Don't go in and random match make something. I do that when it comes to the like normal respawn multiplayer once in a while. But there's things there too. That's also why, again, and I said this before, I like to go back and play some older games. Not necessarily just only older Call of Duty games, but older like shooters and stuff. And I mentioned before quite some time now that I played a free-to-play shooter that was released already back in 2012, which is Planetside 2. And I just wanted to mention that game again, because I am almost astonished by the game overall. It because it offers also something that I have not seen anyone. I'm surprised. I should put it like that. I'm surprised that no one else, like a modern studio, has picked up or made like a similar IP, if that makes sense, a similar game. Because what I'm talking about is a game that combines like this sci-fi environment shooter kind of game together with everything that we know from larger scale, like Battlefield games. With huge battlefields, with vehicles, but again with the sci-fi, different factions, and a depth when it comes to how to play the game with the different like classes. Also along with the squads that you can join, clans and everything. And again, since the game has been out also like plus 10 years now, there's a mix of veterans that have played the game since the start, but also people that have, like I say, only played it maybe for a few years, like me. Or not even that. I would say I picked up the game about a bit more than a year ago now, like for real. I've known the game from before and played it, like tested it, but never. It's one of those games that if you, I can imagine that people. I say this in my last video about Planetside 2, that I can understand if people pick up the game, try it out, but then just leave it, because it's one of those games that you need to invest quite a few hours if you're really gonna get the best out of it, and if you're
Mm-hmm.
really gonna enjoy it and also get better at it to
Mm-hmm.
understand how it works and everything. But when you do, it's really rewarding, and it's a really, really, really good game in so many ways.
Mm-hmm.
Sure, I mean, there are things that some of the veterans are complaining about. It has to do with certain things that maybe was partly better before. But also, I see that, especially also Daybreak Games has gotten some shit. Well, I mean, they took over the games a few years ago, but I still see also there's a lot of new patch notes, a lot of new updates, still events coming up, things happening due to like Christmas to Halloween to yeah, certain events that also gives you like extra XP. For example, they had an extra XP event going on for 2-3 weeks over the holiday season.
Mm-hmm.
So they really like, keep a progress with the game even though it's old.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that that's so much more than I can say about certain, especially newer games that are just there for milking players when it comes to money, and they don't. I think that so many games now, unfortunately, are made for that purpose mostly or only, and it's not really made.
Not made
It
for
sometimes
fun.
feels that the game isn't really made by gamers for gamers. That's
But that is true though. The thing is, it's not made by gamers for gamers. Essentially, I think a lot of the development, the like the people behind the games that are making these games now, they are corporate people. They're thinking about the numbers. They're thinking about, okay, how
yeah,
can we monetize this product? How can we get people to pay and stuff like that? And I think the mindset of developers has changed as well a lot. Like for
yes,
example, I've got a mate of mine who he is a game developer, and we've had like I remember when we were kids, and he was still studying to be a developer and stuff like that, and the kind of conversations we'd have about games. And I think about the conversations we have now, because like last year he came over and stayed with us for a couple days, and
mm,
I remember the conversation we had about game development. We almost sort of had moments of clashing, but because of the fact that we're so good at managing conversations with each other, it
yeah.
was fine. But
That I remember you mentioning actually.
yeah,
That you had, yeah, yeah,
exactly.
yeah, yeah.
Just the perspective from his, because he works in for games where there's a lot of monetization. In the case, like for example, like with your son with Adam, he works in
Mm,
the games that he's producing aren't really all about monetization. It's not, at least the game
no,
that the last game that they put out. It wasn't about the monetization. It was about the creativity of the game, and
yes,
that was great. Whereas for like my mate, he works for the bigger companies. He works for the companies that do your microtransaction games. The games that he works on are microtransaction games. That's the kind of
yeah,
games that he works on.
mm,
And so when we spoke about like the monetization of their games and all that kind of stuff, it was sort of a thing of like, he was sort of like trying to get a point across to me, as in you need to understand that we need to get paid and all this sort of stuff, and the industry and all that kind of stuff. And I understood where he was coming from, because he's coming from the perspective of it's a job. And
yeah,
the thing is, what I understood, or where I was coming from, was that the games that they make are not enjoyable, and they're
mm,
predatory when it comes to like younger people or people with gambling problems or whatever have you. Those games are designed in a predatory way to sort of like gouge you for funds, and they're just not fun, because even like for example like eFootball 2023, it has become more and more like that, and the more they release updates, the more it's starting to become more and more like that, or getting worse in that sense.
mm,
And more people are just pulling away from it. Like me personally, I play it every now and then, because it's one of those games that I've been playing for years, and
yeah,
I hop in and I play a match here, a match there, and so forth. But I'm finding myself enjoying it less and less. And I'm telling you, the only reason why I still have it is because there is no real competitor for it, for me at least, at this point in time. Because the only alternative is FIFA, and that's worse for me.
yeah,
So until like hopefully someone else comes out with a an alternative that I can play, a football alternative, if I can get my sports fix, or maybe I get into some other sport and jump onto that. Granted, most sports games have the same kind of monetization system. Yeah, eFootball is the only option I have. It's the
mm,
only real option, and it's not good. It's bad. It's getting worse. You know, the gameplay's getting worse. People are complaining. People are just leaving. You know, it's horrible. So I would say I like with those sort of games, it is about the money. 100% it's about the money, and there's no the creativity comes after. You know, and I'm sure there are developers who work on those games who really want to, you know, create some cool stuff, but at the same time, they are not making decisions. So yeah, that's about it.
That's about it. No, I mean, there's a lot to this, and I know that both you and I have our experiences and our thoughts, and apparently we're sharing a bit here, but it could also be a separate discussion, I would say, almost an episode, because it's a thing that we experience. You know, if you're gaming a lot, I think you're following here, and you understand what we are talking about, you know.
Yeah.
But it's sad because if you've been around for quite some time and played also older games, and I can mostly talk from my experience, of course, of being an FPS gamer, but you can see that there's been a change, and you can see that there's been, unfortunately, not only a change when it comes to, as you mentioned, the whole kind of microtransaction system and how they're earning the money when it comes to the games. But it also has affect the quality and the purpose of the games and who they are for.
Yeah.
And I think that's it's a kind of a dangerous path, and as said, that's also a reason why I promote still some older titles. If you are in my case, a FPS gamer, because I think that there might be more value for some of you guys to play these games compared to some of the new ones. Why spend like $70 for a game that you don't really, you might enjoy it, but for how long and how much? And then you can play like a free-to-play shooters, as mentioned, like, for example, Planetside 2, that will give you something to do and to learn and to get into and to develop as a gamer from a gaming perspective for years to come. You know, it's like, well, think about that for a second. It's it is what it is.
I think a lot of people have also been going towards the indie scene as well, to try to get their fix for games.
Of course, yeah.
The indie scene seems to have the creativity at the moment. So
of course, yes. They have had, I would say, almost all the time.
Yeah.
But it has become even more clear and important, I would say, also now that the indie scene is there, you know, and the grassroots are growing and growing strong, and they are sending signals and showing that, hey, we're out here and we're doing this. If you like this and you want the real deal and a good experience because it's made for you and for the purpose of having fun playing a video game, then try it out, you know. So it is definitely true, and I have had a lot of my best moments also when it comes to some of the games I mentioned from smaller developers, and they've just made it really well, and they deserve the attention. But that's also the hard part, since they are smaller, they can't really, you know, they are easily forgotten because they don't reach the masses, if that makes sense, due to, you know, not the possibilities of marketing and stuff like that. But okay, well, time flies, and we're sad we can go on with this topic for some time, I guess. But what do you say, my friend? What we're gonna do? What we're gonna do?
There's the thing that we usually do right about now. What's that thing called?
Shout out for your podcast.
Well, it's actually which I don't know channel it is. Shout out for your channel.
Okay, shout out for your channel. Darn it. Okay.
So I have been checking out this channel called it's called Real Life Law. And what can you tell us about Real Life Law, Raj?
Extreme speculation.
That's it. That's all they've got. That's literally all we've got.
The best description ever.
The best description ever. I've been watching this on, and this. I guess this is a shameful plug of Nebula. I've been watching this on Nebula. It is on YouTube as well, so you can watch their videos on YouTube. The thing though is that some of their videos show up on Nebula with that they wouldn't get away with putting on YouTube, in the sense that YouTube would demonetize it or whatever have you and so forth. So you can get special videos of this on Nebula. You can watch them on YouTube and you'll get like, they've got videos like, for example, why I like this channel is that it covers a lot of the issues we have, like the sort of like political and social issues we have in the world regards to like war and all that kind of stuff, right? And they go really deep into the detail and all that kind of stuff of it. So like they talk about the invasion of Ukraine and stuff like that and what could happen essentially, but they don't just focus on like the mainstream news that just focuses on just Ukraine. They focus on every country. There's stuff about Yemen, there's stuff about Syria, there's stuff about Libya, there's stuff about Qatar, there's stuff about Russia, the UK, you know, just generally speaking, they go over a lot of topics, you know, like for example, one of their topics is why Ireland has fewer people than 200 years ago. And I love that video. That video was actually really good. It's 15 minutes long. You know, they've got a video that says Cape Town's catastrophic water problem. So, you know, there's a water problem in Cape Town, which I haven't watched this one yet. This is in South Africa and so forth, you know. You know, so they've got really good videos, top secret CIA base in Australia, la-di-da, and so forth. And so it's a really good channel. And if you want their really deep dive stuff, of course, Nebula is the way to go, because they've got like 30-minute long videos with like a ton of stuff about different, you know, things that are going on in the world. So yeah, but you can watch it on YouTube and get a taste to see what it's like. And if you like it, then get your curiosity subscription and get Nebula, and then we can all watch it together and talk about it, which would be awesome. So yeah, that is it. Real life lore on YouTube and Nebula. You know, I highly recommend this channel. I think it's good stuff. Good stuff. So Raj, how about we get out of here? You know, I've finished my breakfast. We finished the podcast. You know, we got some video gaming and creative stuff to do. You know,
true. No, it's true. We got to move on with the day. But before we do that, thanks a lot for listening and everything. It's always very much appreciated. I hope you had a good time, and as Q mentioned, the tips you might get when it comes to some good tele or and gaming as well. So hope to meet up next week if possible. But before that, stay healthy, don't catch the flu, and have fun. Enjoy life, my friends. Muffin and out.
Beautiful as always. So with that, guys, we've finally gotten to the end of the podcast. Hope you guys had a wonderful time listening to this episode of That Beautiful Life podcast. We enjoy making the podcast, and we hope you guys enjoy listening to it. So with that, you can find Raj pretty much everywhere. It's on the screen for those of you watching on YouTube. It's on the screen. It's basically 40 splish splash. That's the number 40 with a SPLISH, SPLESH. He streams on a Tuesday, Wednesday, and on a Sunday. That's correct?
Accurate.
Woo, I love it. So you can find me at LP Garden. It's Garden Talk to you, LPGRDIN. I stream on Simply Binge, which you can find at Simply Binge on Twitch. That's why I stream. But you can find my other stuff on LP Guardian pretty much everywhere else. That's if you want to find me on social or YouTube and all that kind of good stuff. And I stream on a Monday and a Thursday. So I will be streaming again tomorrow. That's when I will be streaming again. You know what's the funny thing? Whenever I pick up Ty, he asks me, he's like, he's streaming today. And then I have to like, if I tell him yes, then he knows he can't like ask to go and play on the playground. Because there's a playground in the school, and just before he likes to go, because some of the kids go there and they play after school. So he likes to go and play a little bit. And so if I say I'm streaming, he's like, "Oh, okay." If I say I'm not streaming, he's like, "Can I go? Can I go play?"
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there we go.
So like yesterday, he did a bit of that because I wasn't streaming yesterday, and I was freezing. Like, wow, it is cold. I didn't dress well. It was my fault. I dressed I had on like those puffy sort of like sleeveless jacket things.
Yeah.
I had on one of those with a hoodie, and I was like, because I was just like, it can't be that cold. The day, like the temperature's going up a bit. The the sun is out. Nope, I was freezing. So today I'm wearing a full jacket when I go to get him. I'm not doing this again. I'm not freezing myself. So as always, guys, we wouldn't like you guys to miss on any of the episodes of That Beautiful Life podcast. Many beautiful people like to subscribe to this podcast on Castbox, Acast, Spotify, iTunes, Google Podcasts, Simply Binge.com, and elsewhere. And what's the company that like it that we're giving it for free? So as always, guys, this has been Q'd.